fire. You may not see him, you may not realize it, but he's there. He's always got his eyes upon us. Little did I realize in years to come that God would allow me to become a hairstylist at National Health Care. I went in and the lady interviewed me. I've skipped years and years and years of my life for sake of time, but she interviewed me for 5 minutes. She did not do a background check. She didn't do any kind of check. She just said, "Can you come to work tomorrow?" I'm like, "God, I know you work fast, but this is ridiculous. This is just ridiculous," because I had retired once from a beauty shop that I had. And so she looked at me, she says, "When can you come to work?" I said, "Next week." She says, "Good. We're going to love you and you're going to love us." Those were the most prophetic words I had ever heard, because you see, God used me there in such a marvelous, marvelous way to be able to share the love of Christ with these people that oftentimes are placed there by their family. They're abused. They're forgotten about. They're forsaken. There I was. They would call me and they'd say, "I am Mary from the Alzheimer's unit. Can I bring her down?" I always played gospel music. They didn't know their name. They didn't know their family. They knew my name. They didn't know my name, knew who I was. And they never left the same way that they came. If they would come to the door, I would get on my knees. I would lift their head out of the wheelchair. Tell them how much that God loved them. Tell them how special they were. And how thrilled I was that they had come to spend some time with me. You see, what an opportunity God had prepared me for as a child when I went to Dillon High School, being the only Indian in an all-white high school before integration. It was not easy, never being invited to a birthday party, football game, nothing. I never went to anything, but that was okay. I was one person who had suffered that I might be able to spread the glorious gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ. I think of the story of Joseph choosing. Joseph chose, remember when he was made king next to Pharaoh, he was under him. He gave him everything he had except his wife. He was over everything. And his wife very, very boldly said, "I want you to lay with me." He refused. He flatly refused. There's times when things look good. The grass looks good on the other side. However, we may not know that there's a septic tank underneath. We need to be mighty careful of the choices that we make, as Joseph did. Joseph made the right choice, and how God used this man. He was hated by his brethren. He was hated and sold into slavery. And yet, God used him to save an entire nation. God never used me to save an entire nation. But you know, God has used me to make thousands and thousands of little ladies and some men know that they were loved by the Lord and how much God really, really loved them. Meant so much to them. To those people in the nursing home that are forgotten, God always has a plan for their life too. I since have retired, and this is what I do is speak, and I work a day and a half now at Haywood Estates. These people are loaded with money, but I don't care how much money you have, you still need the Lord. You need to know that you're loved. You need to know that there is an eternity, and what we do with Jesus today, what we choose to do with Jesus today, will determine what he will choose to do with us in that great day. I hope that you've made your choice. I hope that your choice and that your choosing will be to serve him, regardless of the situation and the circumstances. Make your choice to be on the Lord's side and see what he'll do with your life. Little did I ever realize that God would use me to share the gospel. He can use our afflictions. He can use our hardships. It doesn't matter what he uses, as long as he uses us. So I trust that you will make your commitment today to him, to be used of him. And I always take my treasure chest with me wherever I speak. It's not full of money because I'm a hairstylist, so you know we don't make a lot of money. But I always take this with me, my cotton, because God called me from the cotton fields, and wherever I wind up, I don't ever want to forget where he went to get me in the cotton fields. I am so thrilled that he loved me enough to care for me. He loves you the same way. I do have my books with me, and it's called Handpicked by the King. I do know that I was handpicked by none other than Jesus himself to spread the gospel and to share the love of Christ with others. And I do have them in the back if you're interested. A lot of the stories you can relate to, and I didn't have time to get into that, but I'd like for you to have a copy. They're $14.95. Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to share my testimony and this time with you for a woman in the pulpit. Thank you.